Here's Archie's Travels, Chapter 28, entitled Investigate. I'm going to investigate, said Dolly. No, stay here, said James, but she wasn't listening, and the next thing that he knew, she was creeping towards the caravan. Brave but foolish, thought James, but he was intrigued by what would happen next. Like a cat burglar, she lightly stepped over the leaves and toys, and miraculously made no noise, and then she crept below the window. Don't do it, James almost shouted. He thought that his heart would explode as she lifted her head up and peered through the window. James didn't think it was a good idea and he didn't know why she was doing it. Maybe she's just being nosy, he thought, and it got worse as the caravan door swung open and he stood there peering out towards them in the bushes as Dolly scrambled under the caravan. James' heart was almost coming out of his mouth and he prayed that the dogs would stay silent. Who goes there? He shouted, and he pointed his gun into the bushes menacingly, and luckily for them he had kept his big dog inside, and he tramped around and he kicked over the coals of the fire, and it shone like fireflies. Bob sat in an old wooden armchair and he reached into his deep, woolly pocket. Maybe it's a knife, thought Dolly as she watched being transported from a hiding place. It was shiny and he placed it on his lips, and a flock of beautiful notes filled the air like butterflies. It was a relief to Dolly and James. Maybe it's not so bad after all, she thought. The music was so beautiful that she felt like singing along. He's a sensitive sort, she mused, and then he picked up his rifle unexpectedly, and boom! A poor pigeon fell from the sky and landed just in front of poor Dolly. The bird was twitching on the ground, and he walked over and crack, he broke its neck with a grin and stuffed it into his pocket. So much for sensitive, thought Dolly, as tears pricked her eyes. Please don't see me, she said, as her heart boomed inside her chest. James watched in horror as Annie was sure that she would be discovered and dragged into Bob's caravan, never to be seen again. He went over to the still smouldering fire and he picked up a cup, which was still steaming, and he walked back into the caravan and he closed the curtains and then they heard the snap of the lock. They had escaped just in time.